because your block percentage is up like crazy.
Yeah.
Tell the truth, man. Is it the championship elixir?
Maybe. It's just I just feel good about where we are, what I'm doing, time in my life. I really don't have any pressure. Relatively healthy. Family's relatively healthy. You know what I'm saying? The environment is good, so I'm just chilling, man.
But how does that make the jump shot so good? How does that translate?
I don't know, man. I'm just getting open looks. Doing a lot of extra shooting. Probably shooting a little bit more extra than I did last year. The dynamics of our group has changed in that second unit without Ian and some of the cutting that he was doing for us. But really just, man, taking my spots when they're there. I'm going to try to knock it down and be as efficient as possible.
It just seems like, as someone who isn't playing, you tell me if I'm wrong, it looks like you're focusing on getting the ball over the rim no matter what.
Right.
Like it's not going to be short.
Right.
Is that kind of the main?
Yeah, just, making sure my legs are in it. Making sure I've got my feet are underneath me. That's something I've learned from these guys, just watching them.
Yep.
Just no matter what the shot is, getting your butt and your legs underneath you, getting your feet set, and giving it a chance by getting it up high.
You took Steph's masterclass?
Nah.
Yeah, you did.
Nah, I didn't.
He's going for his own masterclass.
Right.
David West shooting.
You're gonna be that dude, like you're gonna be 60 years old. You're gonna be driving by a park, and you're gonna get out and mid-range.
Yeah, I've already been talking to my boys about that. I'm gonna go win some men's leagues championship somewhere.
Hey, you can do it.
Yeah. But you're right. The chemistry has changed a little bit with that second unit. Right. Now they're looking to you almost.
Right.
Like you're scoring. Do you feel that? And what is that? It's a different kind of responsibility.
I think teams adjusted to my passing. So they don't. They probably want to cut that off first. So there are some nights where I have the opportunity where I say, okay, tonight looks like they're packing it in. I'm just gonna let it go, let it rip. Try to get knocked down a couple early to loosen them up, and then as the game progresses, try to find guys and make sure that the ball is moving and we're getting the best available shot.
As an elder statesman in the NBA, what is your take on all the rampant drama? You got dudes trying to break in the locker rooms. You got nonstop commentary.
Yeah.
Like, this league is a trip right now, right?
It is. It's I was just talking in the back about the guys complaining about not making the All-Star team. Guys feeling slighted and because of social media and guys having the power of their own voice. I think things are coming out a little bit more. It's fun. It's fine.
Ron Adams is right behind. Oh.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's not a bad thing for the game. You know what I'm saying? I think people are drawn in. Maybe these guys are a little bit bitchy in terms of not making an all-star game or not having everything go their way all the time. It's okay. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Are you sitting back like, is this all fun to you watching the drama play? Like, Cleveland is reportedly a mess. The Clippers, Rockets breaking into their locker rooms.
Jason Kidd getting fired.
Fired. And Giannis calling like, I'm going to call an agent threatening.
Yeah. Right. It's like I said, I think probably because just there's so much coming out and there's just that consistent information and guys are wearing their emotions on their sleeves. Every night you can watch a guy who's getting riled up. Maybe there's a little bit more chatter going on between teams, I think, more than I'm used to. Like, we're constantly hearing what's going on everywhere else. I'm like, damn, it didn't used to be like that all the time. Like, every day it's like, hey, guess what's going on in this organization, or guess what's going on in that organization. It's like, all right, whatever.
You got your own guys who, they're getting some technicals, getting some ejections. Kevin just got thrown out last night again.
Yeah.
Do you sense your guys some pent up emotion there on some of this?
Yeah, some nights it builds. I've said this before. I don't. There's always like this debate about what guys could do and what guys can't do. I've seen the way that teams guard and defend against, Steph and Clay and KD, with all the holding and the grabbing and pushing. And I'm saying to myself, now I know I couldn't do that. Like if I was on the floor and I grabbed a guy like that, it's automatic foul. But it's almost some nights you feel like they're saying, okay, you guys are going to pull away, or you guys are going to beat this team. We're not going to help you at all in the outcome. And I think that's where the frustration comes in, sometimes, because, obviously we're super talented and these guys are elite level guys. And I think some nights it's just, Steph, you can make that shot. I'm not going to bail you out with that hit. Yeah, he hit you on the elbow, or yeah, he pushed you in the chest or something, but it's just not going to bail us out.
Did you get the sense that Steph, were you surprised about?
No, because he gets beat up, man. I've said it long ago. He doesn't shoot as many free throws as he should. There are games where he has 4 free throws or 6, and I'm like, no way, because there's just no way a guy who does that much moving and that much cutting without the ball, that much time with the ball in his hands, and is that aggressive, shouldn't be going to the free throw line some nights a little bit more than he does.
Curry just missed a dunk over there, by the way. All that noise. I was watching. Missed it badly. As someone, we've asked you this, I think, before. You've been around the league. You know all these guys. You know Chris Paul, all these guys. Do you sense, though, that teams are not loving the whole Warriors thing? You've won a lot. That's natural. But kind of also aside, they don't love the whole idea of the Warriors of getting all the attention like you do.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't think it's anything that we can control. I think that's just the way folks are sort of looking at this environment, looking at targeting guys. We know we're going to get everybody's best shot every single night. Like, guys are going to try to have their best game of the year against us at any position. So we don't, we feel it, but there's nothing really we can do. It's not on us. It's nothing we can do about it.
Do you feel like something needs to happen between the players and the refs? Is there a sit down that needs to happen, or do players just need to shut up and play?
It's both. It's tough some nights. I mean, I've had referees say, man, the game is so hard to officiate now because of the speed, the size. Obviously guys have become creative and flopping and being able to draw fouls. So a lot of nights the referees are in tough spots. And then there are other nights where I think it's clear cut, like, when you play a physical team, say at Memphis, I think those are probably the more easier games to officiate because there's going to be a lot of banging, a lot of traditional collisions as opposed to just the constant moving, cutting, above the rim type stuff that goes on with a lot of other teams.
Above the rim, I saw the left-handed, one-handed dunks. What is that?
I'm telling you, $59.99.
Did you used to do that? I don't remember that from you.
Yeah, Massey, it's never been a huge part of my game, but there are times where teams are just going to force me to put the ball in the ground. So that's why I'm in the weight room every day, to just make sure my legs are still firing when they have to be there for me. They're there. So.
And you think it's okay? I'm going to make this move now, and I'm going
to dunk it.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'm going to dunk it.
That's pretty good. You can say that at your age.
Yeah,
I'm going up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I know this is going to be asked. You talked about possibly retiring last year. You came back. I mean, when you're playing like this, you start thinking, what am I thinking about retiring for? This could go on for some time.
I mean, a little bit, but I just try to literally, I read a book last year called Ego is the Enemy, and there are just certain parts of you that sometimes you like, I can do it, or you're being very optimistic about the future, but a lot of times I think our ego is maybe in there driving us a little bit. So I've got to make sure that my ego's out of it, my pride's on the side when I make that decision. I try to make sure that every single day I just focus on the next game or the next task, getting myself prepared, and that's just the way it's been going. I'll figure out what I'm going to do when I get to that road.
Man, you're missing out. Like, you could create your own TB12 method. You could have a cookbook. You could go to 40, 45. Like, why do you not see this marketing opportunity right here? Put it in the bottle and say, this is what I've been using.
This is what I've been using. I don't know, man.
Do your buddies around the league check in with you on this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, it's just been a combination of things. You know, being in the right environment. You know, really enjoying coming in here. You know, on a daily basis. We got a good group in terms of staff and organization and all that. You know, listening to these health folks, changing my diet, and you know, trying to make sure I'm constantly putting the right things in. And no matter what, we're just trying to maximize performance in that game window. And everything that I do every single day is just to try to, you know, be as best I can be. You know, when the lights come on.
We're seeing you play the 14, 16 minutes.
Right.
And sometimes a little more in that fourth quarter.
Right.
I mean, could you play a whole fourth quarter? I mean, are you like sometimes thinking, you know what, I could go 18, I could go 20?
Yeah, I mean, there are nights where I feel like that, like, you know, if I can, you know, get through that threshold. There's some nights where Steve says, hey man, you know, we might play you a little bit. We had one the other night where he's like, we can probably play you extra, you know, 2 or 3 minutes, you know. So I'm ready. You know, he knows I'm ready. I think he just, you know, we got a good formula, we got a good mix. You know, we keep teams on their toes with the different mix and combinations and skill sets that each one of us have, sort of at the 5, and it works. So
you ever like, wait a minute, there's about 8 minutes are gone here in the fourth quarter. Is Steve taking me out here?
Right. Yeah. It sometimes, you know, depending on, you know, I look up like, damn it, you know, it doesn't even feel like it, you know, especially if we're rolling, if the ball's hopping, and you know, we're getting stops. But yeah, some nights I feel better. You know, than others, but most nights I feel like, you know, as long as I'm out there making the contribution, you know, as long as, you know, we're moving and the team is moving and we're winning, you know, I'm cool.
What have you given up? You said you changed your diet.
Yeah, man.
Anything hard?
Yeah, Gatorade.
Really?
No Gatorade,
wow.
bro. Yeah, haven't had a Gatorade in over a year now.
That's a sugar?
Yeah, it's sugar. No meat before noon. So that's really helped.
Dude, I haven't eaten meat yet in 2018.
Nice.
Not really.
Yeah. It helps, man.
And yet his performance has gone down.
Yeah, right. I don't feel anything. I'm like, man, give me some bacon.
Right. No, it's helped me.
No meat before
noon.
Noon.
So I start my mornings with fruit.
That's just this season?
Yeah. We changed that at the end of the summer. You know, something that you know, I wanted to work on. So it's just, you know, fruit, maybe a waffle with some fruit, nuts and stuff like that in the morning. And then if I choose to eat some meat in the afternoon, I usually stick with that for the rest of the day. So if I have chicken at lunch, then it's gonna be chicken for dinner. I don't try to beef and chicken and mix it all that together. You know?
We're going to take a quick break to talk about our friends over at SeatGeek. Buying tickets to sports and concerts can be complicated and confusing, but there is a better way to buy with SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the smartest, easiest way to get tickets to every type of live event. Whether you're searching for a last-minute deal, planning a night out, or need to find the perfect gift, SeatGeek helps you find the best seats at the best prices, fully guaranteed. There's nothing quite like seeing your favorite team or musician in person, and SeatGeek will get you closer to the action for a great value. We here at Warriors Plus Minus have the SeatGeek app on our phone, and we find it's the easiest way to find and shop for tickets. SeatGeek is designed to make your ticket buying experience easier than ever. SeatGeek saves you time and money by searching multiple ticket sites to compare prices and find amazing deals. And to get you the most bang for your buck, SeatGeek grades every ticket based on value to help you immediately identify the best seat to fit your budget. Plus, every purchase is fully guaranteed, so you can shop for tickets on SeatGeek with confidence. Make SeatGeek your go-to app for finding the best deals on every type of ticket, from sports, concerts, comedy, theater. Download the SeatGeek app and enter promo code PLUS today. That's promo code PLUS, PLUS, for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase.
Speaking of your teammates, you know, you guys have a collection of bigs. It's a lot of y'all, right?
Right.
What do you think of how Looney has played? I know he's like kind of stepped in with Jordan Bell's going down, and I mean, this guy a year ago, like we were done, like yeah, he's done. Get him out of here. They didn't even pick up his option.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him that's impressive?
You know, Loon's a good guy. You know, and his intent is to do the right thing every single day. And you know, he's one of those guys that you know, I try to talk to, you know, kind of give him some parameters, some context of different things, because he hasn't played a whole lot of basketball, particularly as a young player. with his injuries in high school and in college, and banged up a little bit last year. But his intent is to do the right thing. So when you have a guy like that whose intent is to just get it right, once he gets an opportunity, he's going to do well. And I think it's just a testament to who he is. I mean, obviously he's got some physical gifts, but, his basketball IQ, the way he can, impact the game, has been huge for us.
On the flip side, what do you tell a guy like JaVale who went from the backup big, everybody loved him, everybody was ripping Shaq because they loved JaVale so much last year, to now he can, he hardly ever gets in the game. But, he seems to be not causing a problem in the locker room. So
he's a pro. Yeah. He's a pro. It's a part of the process of just, being in the pros, at the pro level. JaVale, has a skill set and things that he can do positively for this team, and Steve has talked about that throughout the year. Just at different moments we're going to need everybody, and right now obviously with Loon and Bell, looking at those guys, they've spoken to JaVale, and he's taking it on. He hasn't been a problem. He's a good dude. Another one, he gets up every day. He's a good teammate, comes in here and works, and when his number's called, because I think he started a couple weeks ago, he's ready to go.
What do you think this team's kind of mental state is? We've seen some sluggish games at home, but some fantastic stuff on the road almost consistently.
Yeah.
Is it just simply that you kind of need that challenge of the road, and sometimes at home it's not there?
Yeah. Well, it's been our starts. I think we've got to start better at home. And I think we've had the environment is so live and so energetic. I think we all have fallen into the trap of like, okay, it's gonna happen. Okay, we're gonna go on that run, or okay, we're gonna, Steph's gonna hit this shot, and everything's gonna change. And some nights it doesn't work, or it hasn't worked this year. We've dropped probably some teams at home we shouldn't have lost to, but that's on us. Just our focus and the way we're trying to play and the intent we're playing with.
You almost see like when Steph doesn't make a three, it's like it's a little drain, right? Just because you know what would happen.
I was saying that last night. I'm like, man, folks are spoiled with this guy. I mean, you literally hear the gasp in the crowd when he doesn't.
Like, he's such a failure, right?
It's Marcus is the leading the charge there. He's only shooting 41% from three. Can you believe that?
Right, man, yeah. I felt it last night. I'm like, and then he gets going in the second half, and it's like, oh, okay.
So do you kind of have to stick around for Jordan Bell's development, because he seems like a guy who's got all the talent in the world.
Yeah.
But you might need to put some wisdom in his brain. Right?
JB's all right, man. He's got to learn. He's one of those guys. Just you got to learn. But I think he's got the right. See, the first step in being a pro is this intent to do the right thing, and you've got to figure that out early. And I think he's a guy that has. When you see guys who struggle as young players, they don't quite get it. It's usually because they're waking up with the wrong intent, And the right thing as a professional, right, when you get up is, I'm going to come in here and try to execute what these coaches, what they have put down, and try to do that to the best of your ability. And once you do that, if it doesn't work, then you figure out, with the coaches, with whoever, how to figure it out and make it work. But the intent, to do the right thing, to do what you're supposed to do, be in the training room, be in the weight room, give your, an honest effort in terms of defensive focus. Those are the things that, you need to at least give yourself a chance. And he has those, you know what I'm saying? So he'll be fine. He's just got to grow a little bit. Obviously he's talented. The dude's talented, and he's got good instincts for the game.
One question I always want to ask you, we know how strong you are, and we know guys, they run into you and they bounce off. Who do you find is the strongest guy you play against? And would Zaza be way up there?
Oh, yeah. Zaza's strong as hell, man. Zaza's one of those guys. Obviously Cousins is one of those guys. He's strong. I call him
just massive.
Dinosaur bones, man. Seriously, man. Just dinosaur bones. There are a few guys, that are.
You just can't move.
You can't move. But you've got to, obviously you got to figure out ways to still be effective.
Now, Jeff Van Gundy said his answer for all of the beef and the players trying to fight. It's to just, if two players are trying to get into it, the next time they meet, you set up like a boxing match.
Right.
I think that's something you'll be for, right?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
So-
In the ring.
So,
Gloves on.
but only problem with that is like, what if it's like Steph against Boogie, right? Would you then be
Yeah,
like,
so-
I'll
yeah,
fight?
You'd have to get in the. You'd have to. It's like weight classes, man. You got to even it out.
Yeah, so you
That's
like,
too
I'll
big of a
fight
disparity.
for. I got you.
Yeah.
You
Game of Thrones.
he would love, yeah, right.
Yeah,
He would
too big
love
of a
that,
disparity,
right?
yeah.
I think that's a great idea. I think
Yeah.
that'll solve a lot of problems.
It will.
Cats would not be so tough if they knew they had to put the gloves
It'll
on.
be a reckoning.
Right. Because that day is coming, right?
We know that you are certainly well versed in all these societal things that we've talked about are going on and certainly affected sports. I've seen Steph and Kevin Durant step in with the Colin Kaepernick donations.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, where do you think this is headed, just with athletes in particular? And you guys have,
Yeah.
there's something that Kaepernick did kind of start or put it on the map. Where do you think this might be headed for all you guys?
I don't know. I think part of it is the awareness. I think guys are showing an unbelievable awareness and alertness to what's going on into the society that they live and they're a part of. I think that's an important part of all of this. It's like I was reading somebody say yesterday, like they're tired of athletes speaking out. Well, is it because the guy's an athlete? You know what I mean? So you can't separate the guy being an athlete who's living in this country, who's paying taxes, who's stopping at red lights and shopping at the grocery store just like everyone else.
Paying taxes.
And you put that label on an athlete, and all of a sudden none of the other stuff is supposed to matter. I think the age or the day of the athlete just sort of being a singular thing, I think those days are done. I don't know if there's going to be like some great shift or great movement because athletes are speaking out. I do know that the impact that they're having with the younger people and the strength or the courage that guys are exhibiting to take a stand and speak out at times when other folks are voiceless is going a long way. And I don't think that guys are going to go backwards. I don't think you all of a sudden have guys not speaking up or saying something.
Yeah, in fact, we've seen that. Players are like, okay, wait a minute, now I have to speak
I have
out.
to say something.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the previous paradigm was if you're thinking about that stuff, you're not giving your all in the sport, right? Are they
Right.
kind of disproving that mindset in a sense?
Yeah, because you're even. So the idea is that you can't multitask, or somehow you can only focus on one.
The sport is so consuming
Right.
and difficult.
And
you
it
can't
is.
do
It
anything
is
else.
at times, but there's also a balance you have to have, because if you're too locked into this and you're too inebriated in yourself in terms of what you're doing every single day, you're going to find yourself in a hole. You're going to find yourself as an undeveloped human being. I think that's one of the things that is probably most intriguing to athletes is the idea that you can be a more versatile human being. You don't have to be this singular idea or carry the singular identity. And I think, guys are really pushing back against that idea or that attitude of you're an athlete, you're a basketball player, do what you do. Well, nobody else does that. No other group of people are asked to do that in their profession. This guy gets on TV and says, well, I'm a lawyer or something else. Well, hell, you're not a political commentator or you're not a lawmaker, but you're speaking about what's going on in the world. And, we have the right and we're afforded the same opportunity.
Those roadside diners in West Virginia apparently really mean a lot, because I keep reading those people tell me what's going on in the world. Every time. I can't get away from those people. Stop talking to West Virginia. One time.
Right.
It's got to be pretty cool though, right? Like, I remember there was a time, especially when I was coming up, where athletes were too silent. It was all about getting your money,
Right.
And you didn't have any impact. And now you've really hung on long enough to like be an athlete in this era, where you
Right.
got all these movements happening. You got women's rights. You got
That was
black
little-
movement.
It's not just to happen now, though.
I mean,
Come up again.
yeah. So he's like you're not done at this point. Like you're in the middle of it. You know what I'm saying? You could be the old dude like now, hoping you get an interview on TV about it. But now like you're in it. Is that pretty cool? I mean, I know it's not like it may not be civil rights movement, but it's still something.
But yeah, it's good to be a part of it. And when I first came in the NBA, there was you had a little bit of it going on, but you still had the old guard, and so the old guard would be like, "Hey man, pick your battles, young fella. You better chill." That's the old guard, because they were sort of in that mindset. And then, I think for me it was Katrina. Like, look, man, I was in New Orleans before Katrina hit. I saw, the impact that had. I saw the impact that the neglect of those folks and what that had on them psychologically. There are folks who are still traumatized, just from that abandonment feeling like, yo, I'm literally on this earth by myself.
Like from the whole country, though.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are people who that, still carry that. And so it was that I'm like, oh no, I've got to speak some truth on some of this stuff. And, I know folks, people who lost whole homes and businesses and families, are in 3 different, part of the family's in Denver, the other part's in Houston, the other part is in Florida. And I know people who went through that stuff. And so it was that, and sort of the life, or that sombering moment of the reality of it, that for me, I was like, well, yeah, this NBA stuff is okay. I mean, it's great, but there's a greater focus out here. There's a greater purpose out here. Just caring, and I mean, it was really that in terms of where I felt the shift, because folks were at, it was non-sports people coming asking us questions about New Orleans, and I'm like, well, I'm going to answer you honestly. It's screwed up. I'm saying? Folks living under the bridges, people not having, opportunity. They don't know where the money's gone. FEMA trailers running out. I mean, we were doing these big feed the children, the big trucks. I mean, we were having to do those.
You mean the Hornets?
Yeah, and guys individually, not just the Hornets, but us as players individually. I mean, we literally became we knew those people because they were a huge lifeline, because dollars weren't going where they're supposed to, but we knew that we could pool together $20,000, $30,000 and bring an 18-wheeler full of supplies that could help 100 people. You know what I mean? So it was sort of that reality for me as a pro. Like, yeah, we gotta you gotta really do real work. You gotta use this opportunity to to help folks who would otherwise be forgotten.
So you gotta be pretty proud now, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like a lot of stuff has happened since Katrina. Like, it just keeps happening.
And then the other thing was the Donald Sterling thing. Like, when he went crazy, I thought from an NBA perspective, like, it all smacked us in the face. Like, everybody's like, yeah, nah, we not getting ready to be out here just getting disrespected like that. We're gonna say something. We're gonna at least voice our opinion, and whether or not folks act on it, or there's some sort of movement started, whatever, we're going to at least say something. And I think from a perspective of an NBA player, that's something that we've tried to keep going, and we've tried to impart in the younger guys as they come in.
So where does LeVar Ball fit in all this?
Way to go, Mike.
You know we out of questions when you come to LeVar
Man,
Ball.
oh man, he's doing what he's doing, man. He's whatever, man. He's gonna make decisions about his kids and make decisions about his family. My only hope is that he doesn't do or make a decision that his sons resent him for.
Yeah.
Because that's a tough spot to be in.
All right. And dads tend to do that sometimes.
Right. And I, like, my son is 8 and he's a hooper. He's loving the vibe he's got now. He's playing on a couple teams and games, and I'm like, okay, I just gotta.
You're not getting on the coach at all.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I
I'm going to get him off this team. I'm in on another team.
Are you gonna coach him at some point?
I can't, man. I wouldn't do that to him, man. I'm gonna just try to be his biggest fan, and just not be too critical.
So when he gets
Because
to high school,
I don't ever want, like, that's my fear. I would never want to make a decision or say something to where he just resents me. And that I don't want that.
now you don't. At 15, you'll be like, look, here's how it's going to be. I'm an assistant coach. We're going to Lithuania.
You're going to run Lithuania. Take as many threes as you want.
Right.
It sounds good now.
Right,
15.
right.
That's how it's going
Man.
to be. Well, thanks so much, man.
really
We appreciate it. Always
Absolutely,
a great time
guys.
when you slide
Absolutely.
through. And, if you need a picture, man, for your new potion,
Yeah, he's all over that.
$59.99.
I got you,
Logo
bro.
going
We didn't even mention the big Raymond Ritter pitch now. 7th man of the year.
Yeah.
Seventh
fine.
man of the year.
Jeez, I can't imagine who
Do you walk up and accept that award?
I would. I would. I just say, this is donated for the people. This is for the people.
All right, David, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.